Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words. So today we're going to be talking about a very interesting rune word, and it is the rune word Delirium. Delirium is a very odd rune word, and the runes for that rune word are Lem, Ist, and Io. Now, Delirium is best made in Druid pelts and Barbarian helmets, and there is a specific reason why. And I think most people tend to avoid the Barbarian helmets. But basically, the reason why is because it has +2 to skills, and you can stack those +2 to skills with other effects, like, for instance, +3 tornado or +3 cyclone armor or +3 hurricane that naturally spawn on druid pelts. So keep in mind that if you were to put this on a druid pelt that already had +3 skills on it, you would essentially get +5 to that particular skill. So if you were to find, for instance, a druid pelt with +3 hurricane, +3 tornado with 3 sockets or no sockets, you could socket it, and then you could throw LemIstIo in there, and you would have +5 to hurricane or +5 to tornado, which is very, very, very effective. There is also one very interesting thing about Delirium, which is the chance to cast level 50 Delirium when struck. Delirium is essentially turns you into a Stygian doll. A Stygian doll is the little things that run around and attack people, and it's pretty interesting. It essentially morphs you into a Stygian doll and makes you quite useless. And the reason why people use this helmet almost primarily on druids is because you can morph yourself out of it by using your shapeshift skill, whereas most other characters cannot. And the first thing I'd like to do is take you over to this particular ability, see if I can actually get it to proc, so I can show you what the Delirium is like and what it means to be
I will cleanse this wilderness.
a Stygian doll. So I think I really need to get myself into a hell difficulty. So give me just a minute, and I'll be right back. All right, so I went and stood in the fire for a little while, and here I am. I am a little Stygian doll. So as you can see, I am a little Stygian doll. I'm running around. I can't use any of my spells. I am limited, locked out of pretty much everything except for regular attacks. Now this is normal difficulty, so I probably could still kill some stuff. What do I do? 285 damage? Let's go, buddies. Come on, we ain't got time for this. But as you can see, there's no way to change back. So if you get stuck in this form, you are stuck in this form until the duration of the ability ends. And I'm not exactly sure how long that is. Let me check real quick. So the answer to that question is roughly 60 seconds. Now, if you were not a shapeshifting druid and you wanted to transfer back, you would need some sort of item that would give you shapeshifting, like, for instance, the beast weapon. And if you put the beast weapon on and you right-click with your werebear, you will turn into a werebear, and then you can transform back, and it will remove you from the delirium effect. And now that we've seen the delirium effect and seen that it turns you into a little bone Stygian doll, let's talk about the delirium rune word itself. And for that, we're going to go over to the website and we're going to take a look at the rune word. So right off the bat, you see that at the top it says 1% chance to cast level 50 delirium when struck, which we've just went over. 6% chance to cast level 14 Mind Blast when struck, which is a pretty amazing ability. Mind Blast is an ability that does a stun, a confuse, like it is a whole bunch of things all at once, and it's kind of hard to explain it if you've never actually used it. But the ability is level 14 Mind Blast, and so it does 54 to 64 damage, which isn't amazing. It has a 34% chance to convert enemies, which means that they will fight for you for about 60 seconds. And on top of that, it also kind of does a knockback as well as a stun. So as you can see here, Mind Blast stuns and damages enemies in the target area. It also has a chance to temporarily make the victim fight for the other monsters, but does not make them safe for players. So basically, this is going to take monsters that have a that hit you and have a chance to knock them away, to stun them, and also possibly make them fight for you very briefly. So very, very interesting, and that is a 6% chance when struck. Then you also have a 14% chance to cast level 13 Terror when struck. Level 13 Terror is, of course, going to make monsters run away, which is, again, very interesting, because if any monster actually comes and messes with you, they are going to get a Terror effect, which lasts for 20 seconds. So they will be running away from you for 20 whole seconds, and they will not be able to do anything. And then on top of that, we also have an 11% chance to cast level 18 Confuse on striking, which is, again, really, really awesome, because Confuse makes all the monsters fight each other, and at level 18, Confuse has a 15.3 yard radius, which means it hits pretty much everything on the screen, and it has a duration of 44 seconds. So as you can imagine, right off the bat, we are looking at some pretty amazing ways to prevent damage to yourself. Number one, they're going to be knocked away, they're going to be stunned, and there's a chance they can be converted to your side. Number two, they're going to run away from you. And number three, you're going to confuse everybody, and they're going to start attacking each other. And so it's like a massive crowd control helmet. And one use that you can use this for, you can put it on a mercenary. Believe it or not, if you put a delirium on a mercenary and let your mercenary go in there and get beat on, it's going to keep them alive. The mind blast, the terror, and the confuse all come together, and they basically make for a mercenary who is very difficult to kill, because the monsters, you know, every time they hit him, are going to trigger these mind blasts and terror and confuse effects just constantly, which is very, very nice. Then we come to the meat and potatoes of it. We have +2 to all skills, which is absolutely amazing. Having +2 skills on a helmet is nice, especially if you can combine it with other effects. We have 261 to defense, so a flat bonus to the defense, which is very, very nice. We have 10 to vitality, which is always nice to have a little bit of health. Nobody's going to shake a stick at that. We have 50% extra gold for monsters, which is really a non-item. 25% magic find, which is definitely nice to have. And then if the crowd control on this wasn't good enough, it also gives you 60 level 17 attract charges. And attract is actually pretty amazing, because attract does not get overwritten by other curses, and it basically makes all nearby monsters attack the person who is attracted. And this is important, because if you are in a dangerous situation and you're trying to survive and you cast attract on a target, all of the monsters nearby will attack that target. And as you can see, the duration is 69.6 seconds, which is very, very nice. And I'm going to go out real quick, and I'm going to show you this attract curse and how it works. So if we go to somewhere like, actually, well, let me take this dream helmet and armor off of the merc before he murders everything. So we go to our attract curse, which is right here, and if I cast this on the Dark Shaman, you will see that the monsters will attack him instead of me, and of course my merc is over there just merking everything. And the monsters essentially come and attack him. So putting that attract curse on somebody makes him a target for every monster nearby. And you can cast it multiple times, of course, but it's a charge, so I probably wouldn't. Like I said, it lasts 69 seconds. So you really only have to cast it once when you're in trouble, and just kind of run around that monster so that the other monsters will attack him instead of you. Confuse actually works a lot better, in my opinion, and I actually really like Confuse for the massive AoE-ness of it. But Attract, it does have a an attractive quality, and that is essentially that, number one, you can still use other curses with it. So with Confuse, one of the problems with the Confuse and the Terror Spam is that they will overwrite other curses, like Amplify Damage, Decrepify, Lower Resist, things like that. So they will overwrite more useful curses. And this can be a bad thing if you are relying on curses for your particular character. And Attract does not have that same problem. So you can have amplify damage and attract up at the same time. You just can't have amp damage and attract up on the same monster. But because attract only affects one monster, and because attract is not overwritable, you cannot overwrite attract with another curse, and attract will not necessarily affect the use of your amplify damage and things like that. So it's interesting. Anyway, as a item, this one tends to be more useful on mercenaries and more useful on druids, shape-shifting druids specifically, so that they can get out of that delirium effect. There are, however, better choices for helmets for druids, and even though this rune word is not terribly expensive, with only a lem, an ist, and an io, the only really expensive rune in that entire word is an ist rune, and the ist rune really isn't that expensive. It just happens to be one of the more useful runes. And I was actually planning on making one of these for my my Act 3 mercenary, just for the lulz. I wanted to make it so he was as nigh unkillable, and I thought it would be funny if he had Mind Blast, Terror, and Confuse spamming all over the place. Anyway, I hope that you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and Delirium is certainly a deliriously interesting rune word. Thanks for watching, and keep watching.